welcome to the show. I'm your host, RK Walker, here at the NASDAQ market site. Today we are going to discuss the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, also known as FATCA. Alongside me, we have two attorneys, Mr. Shuke Hong, an associate with Morrison & Forrester, and Mr. Philip Zhang, a partner with Joan Lun Law Firm. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. It's my understanding FATCA was actually passed in 2010, but why is it drawing so much attention now?
You mean like why did it take so long for people to take notice?
Right.
You know, the legislation got passed in 2010. It was kind of tucked away in a bigger Jobs Act. People didn't take a lot of notice in the beginning, and then it was like a lot of outrage almost. How can the US government make banks around the world and other financial entities do tax reporting for America, basically? So it took a long time. The government had to broker deals between other countries to sign for international government agreements. And July 1st is getting a lot of attention now because that's the rollout date. For a long time, people were hoping maybe that FATCA will go away. Maybe it will invade enough privacy law that it won't actually happen. Now the US government has a new tool called FATCA that will help them discover this money.
So the intent of this was originally to increase tax collection revenue, was it not?
Yes.
But there's been a lot of compliance, but there's been a lot of complaints that it's far overreaching and it's actually causing a lot of problems and it's going to discourage investment in the country. So why is that?
It really increases the compliance costs for a lot of the banks and your hedge funds and private equity funds. Because they need to start collecting a lot more information. In a sense, they're almost becoming internal revenue agents for the US government, collecting a lot of information about their investors and then sending that information either to their own country's tax collectors, who will then send it over to the IRS or directly to the IRS, depending on what kind of an international IGA they've negotiated with the US government.
Do you think, as far as Chinese investment in the US via, for example, the EB-5 program, do you think that's going to have a negative effect?
I work for a Chinese law firm, and our clients are mostly Chinese, so this caused a lot of attention among the Chinese potential people who want to apply for the green card, because there are different reporting systems in China. Just as Ms. Hong just said, in reality, nothing changed. But from the Chinese point of view, they do not have such a concept. They do not know that once they become a U.S. citizen or green card holder, they are subject to these laws. So that's the reason that they do not know that much. And when I also go to the website for quite a few EB-5 applications, they have a lot of information about talk about the project and also talk about the procedure, how to apply, but not much talking about what's the consequences if you become a U.S. green card holder or citizen. Okay, so if they are aware of this, even though there's no factor, they still have they still should be under advised in terms how they should prepare their tax planning, estate planning. Okay, even without the new law.
Do you think this is going to be effective in actually increasing revenue, or is this going to really be just a massive penalty against people who already were in compliance for the most part?
It will absolutely increase the revenue, because the purpose of this act is try to combat the income tax evasion. And also, one of the background say that the purpose for this act is that when the U.S. estate planning professional, when they advise to the high net worth individual, one of the techniques they advise that you should put your money outside of the United States. When the people doing this kind of planning, they will know that we have a new law at the moment. Whichever the money you put, then that country, that bank, they have obligation to report you.
And what are the penalties for non-compliance?
Huge. There's withholding taxes for financial institutions who do not comply. And if it's discovered that you were supposed to report income and you didn't report them before, and now the government discovers it, there's penalty for you and possible criminal prosecution as well. And I think, when you think about this all in the perspective, the biggest PR point for this, for new immigrants thinking about coming to America, is if before they were not aware that America is a worldwide taxation country, now they're on loud and clear notice that we are a worldwide taxation country.
It's my understanding China is also going to be getting information about its citizens here. So this this is really a bonanza for many governments who have agreed to participate. It's not just benefiting the U.S. government.
Well, the whole FATCA, if you think about what it's really meant to do, is meant to be moving towards a system of worldwide cooperation in helping governments worldwide collect taxes that they want their citizens to be reporting that they maybe weren't reporting before.
For EB5 investors who come here, what exactly do they need to report to the government? Everything they have back in China, everything here, or just parts?
We look at your status based on, do you have a green card? Do you have a U.S. citizenship? And what is your presence in America? Meaning, are you here for approximately more than half a year? That's a ballpark rule. So as an EB5 investor, assuming before you get your EB5 and you're already in America for more than half a year continuously, you already would be treated as a U.S. tax person already. And at that point, you already have to report your worldwide income to America.
Who wins? You have increased revenues on behalf of the government, but you have increased regulatory costs, so that decreases the incentive to invest. Who wins? Can you tell at this point?
I think the government win. If the government is for the people, people win. Okay, and as a lawyer, we also win because we have more business.
I was going to ask, have you had a pickup in business related to this already?
Yeah.
It's a very hot topic.
Yeah, it's a very hot topic.
But when you talk about cost, you need to think about cost for whom. Most of the costs here, by and large, have been passed along to the financial institutions. They're the ones who have to set up a compliance system, find out who their customers really are, and report to the government. For the average individual, or even for just individuals, there's not new increased compliance costs for them. They found pretty much the same tax returns they used to file. It's just that if before they were putting in zeros or certain boxes before, but they knew they shouldn't be putting in zeros, now they need to come clean and put in a real number.
Okay.
You can't say that's increased compliance cost for the individual.
Well, there's new forms that foreign institutions have to fill out when American citizens come in, and some of them have just stopped taking American citizens altogether, so they don't have to deal with it.
Initially, when FATCA first rolled out, that was a huge concern that a lot of people raised. But increasingly, over the last couple of years, it seems that a lot of countries are signing up for this. There are a lot of intergovernmental agreements between a lot of countries now. A lot of countries are playing ball. We're not going on this thing alone.
Okay.
I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing that government exchange information. Everything become transparent.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us. I'm RK Walker, and I'll see you again next time.